大家好, I'm Nathan Rich, aka 火锅大王. You know, I've been around movie studios for over 10 years, working on the tech side of VFX. I remember dealing with Marvel's VFX inspection teams in LA when we were working on Thor and then Captain America. American superheroes, I think they've got that down, but recently I heard they're moving into doing a Chinese superhero soon. They were pretty nice to me over there, so I've decided to return the favor. I'm going to be very nice to Marvel. As I've delved deeper and deeper into my research about China and its history, I've definitely been convinced even further. Westerners in general do not understand China. Hell, there have even been several books about this fact. To the average Joe walking around in their own country, that probably doesn't matter too much. But if you're making products for Chinese people, you might want to pay very close attention to what happened to Dolce Gabbana last year. They didn't take the time to educate themselves about China, and it cost them dearly.
Fork and Knife, Episode 2. Today we're gonna eat traditional Chinese dessert soup. Finally, there is a food that doesn't confuse everyone.
In addition to a massive boycott of their products, they canceled the show and even issued an awkward apology in which they attempted to speak Chinese. Just imagine how much of a panic they must have felt when they thought about how the scandal could wipe up to 20% of the brand's value of $937 million. If that's true, that's over $180 million in value gone over approaching China the wrong way. In their case, patronizing racism that slid by a bunch of yes men. Marvel, in this modern America stuck in the throes of reverse McCarthyism, you've probably noticed that one race seems to be open season when it comes to racism. You know, my girlfriend, who's Chinese, was afraid to buy one of my American friend's daughters some Chinese dresses. That's because white American people get offended when people who aren't Asian wear Asian clothing.
Now, this senior is being slammed for picking the Chinese-style dress. The accusation, cultural appropriation.
A Chinese person can no longer send Chinese clothes to a non-Chinese person because other non-Chinese people will get upset. But those same people don't seem to care at all about the actual racism against Asians, for example at Harvard University, or the constant stream of hate media targeting Chinese people. That's because there's nearly no backlash in the West for being racist against Chinese people, and often other Asians as well. Actually, I'm not sure there's ever been backlash. But if you're going to start to tell stories about Chinese people, Marvel, I really hope you understand that the Chinese are sick of being stereotyped and abused by media. I've seen it and heard it. People tell me they want a real expression of who they are. They don't want a patronizing nod. This is one reason I have Chinese supporters. They see that for better or for worse, even if they don't agree with me on anything, I'm at least being honest about who I am and how I see things. That's what they want, honesty. But why am I telling you all this, Marvel? I mean, you're big budget. You're well researched. Everything is going fine with your movie, right? Well, that's an interesting question, because from where I sit, I already see a rift forming. And if that rift grows, you could be going down D&G road. Marvel has a lot of characters from China. But for their new upcoming film, they chose Shang Chi, a kung fu master. It'll be interesting to see a movie featuring kung fu because I don't think I've ever seen one of those before. But the real problem with Shang Chi is not that he practices the Western exaggerated, confused version of kung fu. And you know what? It is, shall we say, questionable that he's literally drawn with yellow ink in the comics. And it does seem a little strange that of all these Chinese characters available, you picked maybe the only one who's actually half Chinese. Shang-Chi's mother is a white chick. But no, I'm actually referring to, of course, his father in the comics, Fu Manchu. Fu Manchu is a character from a novel written back in 1912 by a guy who knew nothing about Chinese people at all. Wanting to cash in on the Yellow Peril period of rampant anti-Asian racism at the time, Sax Rohmer created this stereotyped monster.
Do you understand?
I understand.
Sever his left ear, like Van Gogh.
Yes, Fu Pasha.
Yes, Fu Pasha.
The front cover is an evil-looking Asian man reaching out to a fair-skinned, innocent-looking white girl. That should give you some idea of what's going on inside the book. A lot of scares about Asians coming for our women. And indeed, that's a lot of what Mr. Fu does in the countless TV programs, movies, and books. He possesses white women. Like a lot of white women. So if you're white, you should definitely be afraid of Chinese people because they're coming for your women. Right, Marvel? I mean, this is the father of your character. If you want to make a Chinese hero film, great. But you've chosen one which is only half Chinese, who's a master of Kung Fu and was drawn very, very yellow. And on top of that, his father is literally the embodiment of yellow peril. Think I'm exaggerating? Here's Professor of Cultural History Jeffrey Richards on the matter.
Dr. Fu Manchu, the sinister Oriental mastermind created by the writer Sax Rohmer. Rohmer called Fu Manchu the yellow peril incarnate in one man.
Then he goes on to run down every ridiculous racist, anti-Asian, anti-China idea that Fu Manchu encourages and promotes. Because of licensing issues, Marvel now calls Fu Manchu some other name, but it's still him. So I keep wondering, if this movie is already causing problems, why did you specifically choose Shang-Chi's story? And now they're saying they'll use another character to replace Fu Manchu. This is already coming off as pretty sloppy. According to a Business Insider's article, Marvel's already huge in China, where Avengers Endgame grossed more in a week than all of Disney's Star Wars movies since 2015's The Force Awakens did combined. And already I can start to see people not really getting why that's the case. Avengers is a conglomerate of heroes that are modern and naturally diverse. Star Wars, on the other hand, is artificially diverse and relies almost entirely on the lore of the original trilogy for their ticket sales. Chinese people didn't watch the originals, which means the newer films would have to stand up on their own as good, and for the most part, they don't. As part of Marvel's strategy, Shang-Chi is a perfect reflection of the studio's diversity-embracing worldview. Given the massive success of their films in this all-important movie market, this is a really smart move. And the Marvel Studios president said, diversity will be a priority in the MCU's future. Black Panther, which featured a predominantly black cast, made a bunch of money worldwide. Okay, so here's where the rift between China and America is very apparent. You see, Chinese people didn't enjoy Black Panther. For the most part, they viewed it as extremely patronizing to black people. I didn't watch the film, but it did appear to be just that to me. So, if the thing you're leading with is that it's racially correct, then it had better be a non-patronizing and good movie. And that brings me back to Shang-Chi and the way it's being portrayed. I mean, the title of this article is Marvel's Shang-Chi movie could be another huge win for Disney at the Chinese box office and shows the MCU's focus on diversity. I know I've said this before, but Marvel, China is not America. Chinese people don't want to be portrayed as part of a diversity push. If you're going to make a Marvel movie with a Chinese theme, great. Do it right and do it because you want to make a kick-ass Chinese film. Don't do it to fill some strategy about diversity. Many Westerners may eat that racist garbage up, but I'm telling you right now, Chinese people don't appreciate it. You'd better at least pick a good cast if you want to connect with Chinese people. I'm thinking some real authentic Chinese people who are well liked by China. Stars. Or at least that's what I was thinking until I noticed you recently announced the cast. Shang-Chi will be played by Liu Simu, or as he calls himself, Simu Liu.
Matt. I'm Simu. Oliver.
Hi, my name is Simu Liu.
Simu Liu is also known in mainland China as Shay. He's apparently never even been in a movie before. Oh no, I'm sorry. He was an extra in a movie 6 years ago. I mean, it's your movie, but do you think maybe you might want to get an actor that anyone cares about in China? Or are you even trying to reach China? Because this guy recently had this to say.
This is ours, guys. This belongs to us. This belongs to Asian America, to Asian Canada, to Asian Australia, to Asian Britain. Like, to all of us who grew up in a different country, who are struggling with their identity, who are struggling to be seen, who are struggling to feel represented and visible. This movie is ours. And I cannot wait to make it for you. I cannot wait for Aquafina and I to get to work and to give you an amazing movie.
Well, I'm not sure how the movie is going to do if you try making this movie for the people you listed. You see, Marvel isn't trying to make a movie for the Asian Americans and the Asian Canadians. They're trying to make a movie for China, which is about 1.5 billion people. Guess how many people are British Chinese? About 430,000. Or as they call it in China, a blank area on the map. But I think they've probably already talked to him about it, because recently he said, "I consider myself proudly Chinese Canadian, yet I cannot speak to the experiences of my brothers and sisters across the ocean." Right, that's kind of what I'm saying. It sounds like you think you're making a movie for Asian Canadians, while Marvel seems to be indicating they want to make one for Chinese people. All I'm saying is, please make it right. And don't... Wait. What did you say that person's name was?
I cannot wait for Aquafina and I.
Aquafina? Like the water bottle? Oh, it's Aquafina the rapper.
Aquafina's a genius, and a vagina is 50 times better than a penis.
Yes, there's no better way to connect with Chinese people than with a girl known for an English song on YouTube about her vagina being amazing. I mean, that just screams Chinese culture to me. Alright, I'm sorry. I said I was going to be nice, and I meant to. Look, no one has anything against these two. I checked Liu Simu out, and he seems respectful and kind, and that's great. All I'm saying is this. If you're going to make a movie for China, then make a movie for China. If you're going to make one for Asian Canadians, then do that. But don't say one thing and do another, because that's what it looks like you're doing now. It looks like you're telling everyone at parties that you're doing something for China, but then doing something else. Do not go the way of D&G. Don't slap China in the face unless you're ready to be slapped back. You still have a chance. This is just a friendly warning. Thanks, everyone. 谢谢.